Welcome to class 12. In this session, we will discuss about electrochemical cells. See, actually, you already know what is meant by a redox reaction. You already know red plus ox, that is called redox reaction. Generally, in this redox reaction, both oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously. Such a type of reactions we call them as redox reactions, right? Already from +1 knowledge, you know what are redox reactions. Such a type of reactions in which both oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously, we call those reactions as redox reactions. So generally, whenever a redox reaction is allowed to take place directly in a single beaker, so suppose if you conduct any redox reaction directly in a single beaker, then the solution becomes hot. So for example, you know, when a zinc rod is placed in copper sulfate solution, see here, when a zinc rod is placed in copper sulfate solution, what happens here? The solution is found to be warmer. Definitely, you know, solution becomes hot if you touch the beaker. So what is the redox reaction that takes place in this zinc rod that is dipped in copper sulfate solution? What happens when zinc rod dipped in copper sulfate? You already know here displacement reaction takes place. You will get zinc sulfate along with that copper. So particles of copper, finally at the end of the reaction, you can see finally copper will be precipitated. So here particles of copper you can see in the diagram. So beaker becomes hot. Similarly, same results are observed when a rod of copper is placed in silver nitrate solution. When copper rod is dipped in silver nitrate solution, here also redox reaction takes place. And what might be the reaction here? Copper rod, it is solid state. When it is dipped in silver nitrate solution, you are going to get copper nitrate plus silver. So particles of silver will form as a residue. So that is the particles of silver. This is also a redox reaction. So whenever, what I want to conclude from these two examples is, whenever a redox reaction takes place directly in a single beaker, chemical energy in the form of heat is produced. So by suitable means, it is possible to bring about the redox reaction indirectly, so as to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. So how to convert? By using a redox reaction, we can convert a chemical energy into electrical energy. So for that purpose, we are going to discuss about a cell that is called electrochemical cell, or simply a chemical cell. So what is electrochemical cell? It is a device used to convert chemical energy produced in a redox reaction into electrical energy, is called electrochemical cell. I think you understood. So device used to convert chemical energy produced in a redox reaction into electrical energy, we call it as electrochemical cell. So an electrochemical cell reaction operates in this cell. So these type of cells we can call them as galvanic cells, or you can call them as galvanic cells, or you can use the other name also voltaic cells. You can use the other name also galvanic cells or voltaic cells. So let's learn how a redox reaction can be used to produce electrical energy, leading to the formation of an electrochemical cell. So you know a very good example. Here you can say electrolytic cell converts. Generally, what is an electrolytic cell? It converts electrical energy into chemical energy. So you have to take an electrolyte, you have to pass electricity, so that electrical energy is converted to chemical energy in an electrolytic cell. But galvanic cell is different from electrolytic cell. Galvanic cell converts chemical energy into electrical energy, right? It can be reversed to function as an electrolytic cell. A galvanic cell can be reversed. You can, by changing certain conditions, you can reverse the galvanic cell into electrolytic cell. So what about this galvanic cell? Mainly it consists of two half cells or two electrodes. A galvanic cell mainly consists of two electrodes here. Galvanic cell mainly consists of two half cells. We can say two half cells or two electrodes. One half cell contain zinc rod dipped in zinc sulfate solution. So you can see the left beaker in this diagram. This is a electrochemical cell or a galvanic cell. It consists of two half cells. One is left side half cell, we call it as oxidation half cell. Right side half cell, we can call it as reduction half cell. So here one electrode contains, left side half cell contains zinc rod dipped in zinc sulfate solution, and the other half cell, right side beaker or right side half cell contains copper rod dipped in copper sulfate solution. And these two half cells are joined by a salt bridge. These two half cells are joined by a salt bridge. So if you see the diagram clearly, the left side beaker, it acts as anode. And right side beaker, it acts as cathode. Copper cathode, and here zinc rod in zinc sulfate solution. This is called oxidation half cell, and this is called reduction half cell. One is called, these two cells are connected by using a substitute that is called salt bridge. Now if you observe the redox reaction, what redox reaction is taking place here? Second one, anode, right side beaker acts as cathode. When the zinc and copper electrodes are joined externally by a wire, if you join both zinc and copper externally by a wire, the following observations you can make. What are those? There is a flow of electric current through the external circuit. You can observe the flow of electric current in the external circuit opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. See here, in the diagram, whenever the cell works, flow of electrons takes place from anode to cathode. So here, what is the direction of flow of electrons? So during the working of electrochemical cell, flow of electrons takes place from anode to cathode. So you always remember that direction of flow of current will be in opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. Direction of flow of current will be in the opposite direction to the flow of, so here flow of electricity will be from cathode to anode. Flow of electricity will take place from cathode to anode. That is also a key point. So how can you say the current is flowing from cathode to anode junction? You can see a fluctuation in the voltmeter or ammeter. Deflection you can see. You can see the deflection in the ammeter. So the direction of flow of current during the working of electrochemical cell, what observation you can make here? Flow of electrons always takes place from anode to cathode, and flow of electricity always be in the direction of, or it is in the opposite to the direction of flow of electrons. So flow of electricity takes place from cathode to anode. So, and one more point what you can remember from this, here zinc rod loses its mass. What point you can get it? Zinc rod loses its mass. So there oxidation takes place, zinc rod loses its mass, and copper rod gains its mass. Here at anode, what happens at anode? Zinc rod acts as anode. Always remember, loss of electrons takes place at anode, oxidation takes place at anode. Zinc turns into Zn2 plus 2 electrons. So zinc rod loses its mass. At the same time, copper rod gains the mass here. Copper rod gains the mass. So at cathode, what happens? At cathode, always remember that reduction takes place at cathode. So here reduction, Cu2 plus 2 electrons gives rise to Cu. So reduction takes place at cathode, oxidation takes place at anode. So these are the different changes you are going to observe during the working of an electrochemical cell. And other change what you can bring, what observation you can observe during the working of electrochemical cell. Here concentration of zinc sulfate solution increases. Concentration of zinc sulfate solution increases. while the concentration of copper sulfate solution decreases. Concentration of zinc sulfate solution increases, concentration of copper sulfate solution decreases. The solutions in both the compartments remains electrically neutral. So the next observation is the solutions in both the compartments. Solutions in both the compartments remain electrically neutral. Remain electrically neutral. They remain electrically neutral. So what are the chemical reactions that takes place in a galvanic cell here? So what observation, students, did you understand? These are the things what you have to remember. So electric current flows in the external circuit. Remember that electrical current always flows in the external circuit. Now what are the chemical reactions in galvanic cell? You already know. Oxidation takes place at anode, reduction takes place at cathode. Oxidation takes place at anode, reduction takes place at cathode. Anode acts as negative pole, cathode acts as positive pole. So here the thing what you have to remember is, from these observations, you already know anode acts as negative pole, cathode acts as positive pole, cathode acts as positive pole. So flow of electrons always takes place from anode to cathode. So flow of electrons takes place from anode to cathode. So all these points you know. So oxidation Hopf cell. So in oxidation Hopf cell, what happens in oxidation Hopf cell? So left side beaker, oxidation Hopf cell we call it as, in that diagram. So there zinc turns into Zn2 plus 2 electrons. So here zinc goes into the solution. Zinc goes into the solution. So since zinc goes into the solution, so what happens here? The electrons from zinc flow through the external wire to copper electrode. So Cu2 plus ions of the copper sulfate solution take up these electrons to form copper atoms. At the same time, in reduction Hopf cell, what happens? Cu2 plus 2 electrons gives rise to Cu. So finally here, such a cell in which loss of electrons is observed, we call it as oxidation Hopf cell. If anyone asks what is meant by oxidation Hopf cell, such a cell in which loss of electrons is observed, we call it as oxidation Hopf cell. Such a cell in which gain of electrons is observed, we call it as reduction Hopf cell. So overall reaction, for that electrochemical reaction, overall reaction you can write Zn solid plus Cu2 plus aqueous gives rise to Zn2 plus aqueous plus Cu. So this one. So voltmeter is an instrument here used to measure the potential difference between the two electrodes. That is the main importance of voltmeter in that circuit. So in order to measure the potential difference in the circuit, we use this voltmeter between the two electrodes. Potential difference between the two electrodes can be measured by using this voltmeter. And there is one more important here. The thing very important, we are going to discuss about salt bridge. Salt bridge and its function. So first of all, what is meant by a salt bridge? See, in this diagram you can see a salt bridge. A salt bridge is an inverted U-tube. Salt bridge is an inverted U-tube. We can see here, students, this is salt bridge. Okay, a salt bridge is an inverted U-tube filled with a jelly-like substance. We call that jelly-like substance as agar-agar mixed with an inert electrolyte. Jelly-like substance agar-agar mixed with an inert electrolyte like KCl, KNO3, K2SO4, NH4, NO3. So salt bridge is an inverted U-tube filled with a jelly-like substance agar-agar mixed with an inert electrolyte like KCl, KNO3, K2SO4, NH4, NO3. So these salts are mixed. See, the jelly substance is mixed with agar-agar gel. It is mixed with an inert electrolyte. Some electrolytes are mixed here along with this paste KCl, KNO3, K2SO4, NH4, NO3. So these electrolytes are not involved in any electrochemical change. Remember that these electrolytes, they never involve in electrochemical reactions, and they don't react chemically with the electrolytes in the 2-hop cell. That's the key point. These electrolytes, whatever the electrolytes, potassium chloride, potassium nitrate, potassium sulfate, ammonium nitrate, and these electrolytes are mixed with agar-agar gel, and they are placed in that inverted U tube. And these electrolytes, they won't never undergo electrochemical change, and they don't involve in redox reactions, and they don't react chemically with the electrolytes present in the 2-hop cell. So that is a key point. That is the importance of this salt bridge. So what is the main function of this salt bridge? What is the main function of salt bridge? Salt bridge, it acts as an internal circuit. It acts as an internal circuit. That is the key point. Salt bridge acts as an internal circuit. It prevents the diffusion of solutions from one hop cell to other. So it prevents diffusion of solutions. One solution should not enter into the other solution. It prevents diffusion of solutions from one hop cell to other hop cell. From one hop cell to other hop cell. So next, it prevents liquid-liquid junction potential. It prevents liquid-liquid junction potential. Liquid-liquid junction potential which arises between two solutions. Which arises between two solutions when in contact with each other, when brought in contact with each other, when brought in contact with each other. So this is a key point, students. So salt bridge acts as internal circuit. It prevents diffusion of solutions from one hop cell to other. Liquid-liquid junction potential which arises between two solutions when brought in contact with each other. It maintains, its major point among the four, it helps to maintain electrical neutrality of two hop cells. It helps to maintain electrical neutrality. It helps to maintain electrical neutrality in two hop cells. It helps to maintain electrical neutrality in two hop cells. So these are the key points. Generally, during the working of a galvanic cell, oxidation takes place at anode hop cell. Due to oxidation, what happens? Zn2 plus ions flow into the solution. So already you know, left side beaker, that is oxidation hop cell, there oxidation takes place. So during oxidation, during the working of a galvanic cell, oxidation takes place. So in that cell, what happens? Zn2 plus ions flow into the solution. Zn2 plus ions flow into the solution and a positive charge is accumulated around anode. Zn2 plus ions flows into the solution and positive charge is accumulated around anode. Positive charge is accumulated around anode. So that is a key point. Positive charge is accumulated around anode. Similarly, reduction takes place at cathode hop cell. So due to this, what happens? Anions flow into the solution. Anions flow into the solution. Anions flow into the solution and negative charge is accumulated around cathode. And negative charge is accumulated around cathode. That is a key point. So what happens in these two hop cells? In the left side cell, positive charge is accumulated around anode. In the right side cell, negative charge is accumulated around cathode. So the accumulation of positive and negative charges will prevent the flow of electrons. So this is the main, the accumulation of excess positive charge in anode, excess negative charge at cathode. This accumulation of excess charges, positive and negative charges, will prevent the flow of electrons. If they prevent the flow of electrons, functioning of cell slows down and the cell stops working. So accumulation of positive and negative charges will prevent the flow of electrons in the circuit, and if the flow of electrons is prevented, means here what happens, functioning of cell slows down and the cell will not work further. After some time the cell will not further work. So in order to prevent this highly accumulated charges at anode and cathode, so Salt bridge prevents the accumulation of charges in the two half cells, which provides movement of ions in the internal circuit. So internal circuit is there, inverted U tube is there, in that ions will be there. So these ions will move only in that internal circuit only. When the concentration of zinc ions around anode increases, sufficient number of negative ions migrate from the salt bridge to the anode half cell. So did you understand? Suppose if positive junction, that means if the positive charge is accumulated more at anode, oppositely charged ions, that is negatively charged ions, will move in the internal circuit and they try to reduce the positive charge at anode. At the same time, when the concentration of sulfate ions around cathode increases, concentration of anion ions, negatively charged ions around cathode increases, sufficient number of potassium ions or cations migrate from the salt bridge, move in the internal circuit, the movement of positive ions takes place and they migrate from the salt bridge to the cathode half cell. So conclusion point is, whatever the excess positive charge is generated at anode, that is neutralized by the negative ions present in that salt bridge. Whatever the negative charge is, excess negative charge is accumulated at cathode, that negative charge is compensated by the positive ions present in that salt bridge. So the movement of ions takes place in the internal circuit. If more positive charge is accumulated at particular electrode, oppositely charged ions will move in the internal circuit and they try to reduce the highly accumulated charge. They bring it into neutral case. So that's why in this manner salt bridge prevents the accumulation of charges at their respective electrodes. Hence it will help to maintain the electrical neutrality in the two half cells. So they're very, very important, students. I think it's somewhat okay. Next, in this manner electrical neutrality is maintained. Now after that we will have the slight difference between this tabular form. You already know about electrolytic cell. I already said before, electrochemistry is divided into three parts. Already two parts are completed. Last part is, that is electrochemical cell part. So here the differences between electrochemical cell and electrolytic cell. So it's a device, electrochemical cell is a device to convert chemical energy into electrical energy. That is, electrical energy is produced as a result of the redox reaction. So electrolytic cell means device used to convert electrical energy into chemical energy. So you have to pass electrical current, electricity through electrolytic solution in order to bring about the redox reaction. That's the main difference between an electrochemical cell and electrolytic cell. So electrochemical cell, it is based upon the redox reaction which is spontaneous. It's completely based on redox reaction which is a spontaneous reaction. So in electrolytic cell it is a non-spontaneous and takes place only when electrical energy is supplied. Compulsory you have to supply electric current through that. So two electrodes are usually set up into two separate beakers. In electrochemical cell you can see left side beaker, right side beaker, oxidation half cell, reduction half cell, and those must be connected to the external circuit. But in electrolytic cell both the electrodes are suspended in, both cathode and anode are suspended in the same beaker. Only single beaker will be there and that rod is whatever the cathode and anode rods are dipped in an electrolytic solution. So one beaker you can observe in electrolytic cell, but in electrochemical cell two beakers you have to observe. The electrolytes taken in two beakers are different in electrochemical cell, but you have to take only single electrolyte. Next, the electrodes taken are of different materials in case of electrochemical cell. In case of electrolytic cell, electrodes taken may be of same or different materials. The electrode on which oxidation takes place is called anode. Anode is a negative pole. And the electrode on which reduction takes place, we call it as cathode. Here cathode we call it as positive pole. Sixth point is very, very important point. At anode oxidation takes place. The electrode on which oxidation takes place is called anode. Anode is considered as a negative pole. Cathode is considered as a positive pole in case of electrochemical cell. But in electrolytic cell, the electrode which is connected to negative terminal of the battery, we call it as cathode. Cations migrate towards cathode. Hence reduction takes place. The electrode which is connected to positive terminal of the battery, we call it as anode. So like that, here be careful. To set up this cell, compulsory salt bridge or porous pot. Porous pot means it is a U-tube. It is also a U-tube having porous, small microporous holes in it. To set up this cell, a salt bridge or porous pot is used. No salt bridge is used in this case. There is no use of the salt bridge in case of electrolytic cell. I think you understood, students. Now, representation of an electrolytic cell. How to represent an electrochemical cell? Sorry. How to represent an electrochemical cell? So, in case of electrochemical cell, oxidation occurs at anode. Anode acts as a negative pole. Reduction takes place at cathode. Here electrode on which reduction occurs, we call it as cathode. Cathode is a positive pole. Anode is a negative pole. Cathode is a positive pole. Electrons always flow from. See here, very important points I am telling here. See here, the electrode on which oxidation occurs is called anode. Very important point for objective. Electrode on which reduction takes place is called cathode. Cathode is considered as a positive pole. This is the case of electrochemical cell. Okay. Electrons flow from anode to cathode in the external circuit. Internal circuit is completed by the flow of ions through the salt bridge. So two circuits, external circuit. So electrons flow in the external circuit, ions flow in the internal circuit of that is nothing but salt bridge. So these are the important points in this electrochemical cell. So don't get confused with electrodes, anode and cathode. Next, how to represent an electrochemical cell? So representation of an electrochemical cell. So we'll have it. So to sum up here, very important, this is a representation of an electrochemical cell. Of an electrochemical cell. So in this, generally you know left side electrode, that is what we call it as anode. Electrons flow from anode to cathode. So right side electrode we consider it as cathode. Okay. So electrons always flow from anode to cathode. Electrons flow from anode to cathode. So how to represent it, students? See, anode, that is negative pole. Anode is a negative pole. Anode is a negative pole. You already know these points. See, anode is a negative pole. Anode is written on the LHS, left hand side, and cathode on the right hand side. Negative pole always represent oxidation half cell. We call it as oxidation half cell. That is nothing but anode. So anode must be represented on the left side like this. Okay. So a vertical line or semicolon. In some books, simply they will write a vertical line, or in some books they will use semicolon symbol. A vertical line or a semicolon symbol indicates a contact between two phases. That is phase boundaries of the electrode. That indicates the phase boundary of the electrode. A vertical line or semicolon indicates a contact between two phases. That is phase boundaries of the electrode. So here, anode, how to represent oxidation half cell? That is anode. First we have to represent the anode present in that electrochemical cell. metal followed by metal ion, metal vertical line followed by metal ion, and you have to mention its concentration, whether it is 1 molar concentration, 2 molar concentration, like that. Concentration must be mentioned in the open brackets. So metal followed by phase boundary, that is vertical line. Phase, this is a vertical line or semicolon, indicates a contact between two phases, phase boundaries of the electrode. Metal, vertical line, metal ion, and you have to mention the concentration here, right? This is the representation of oxidation half cell. Now after that, representing the oxidation half cell in that format, double vertical line or double semicolon represents a salt bridge. So in this, after representing oxidation half cell, see here, this is a salt bridge. This is a salt bridge, is always represented by a vertical line, double vertical line. Double vertical line represents salt bridge, or double semicolon represents salt bridge. Okay, after writing the salt bridge, next, the electrode on the left hand side is written by writing the symbol of the metal first, followed by the symbol of the ion with its concentration in brackets. Okay, that one, like that only I represented. The electrode, anode electrode, is represented by writing the symbol of the metal first, followed by the symbol of the metal ion with its concentration in brackets. Next, the electrode on the RHS, right hand side, or it represents reduction half cell. It is written by first writing the metal ion along with its concentration. So right electrode, that is reduction half cell, is represented in this manner. First you have to write metal ion symbol, and you have to mention its concentration, followed by the vertical line, followed by the metal. So reduction occurs, that is, this total part represents reduction half cell. So reduction half cell must be you have to write it on the right side of the salt bridge in such a manner that first you have to represent the metal ion, mention its concentration in brackets, followed by metal. So metal, vertical line, metal ion concentration, that is oxidation half cell. Next, salt bridge, double vertical lines. Next, metal ion concentration, followed by vertical line, followed by metal. So always remember that oxidation half cell must be written on the left side. Next, both oxidation half cell and reduction half cell must be separated by a salt bridge. So this is the representation, students. This is the representation. Now I will write here representation of electrochemical cell. So how you have to write? Metal, vertical line, metal ion, and you have to mention its concentration, C1, salt bridge. Next, metal ion, you have to mention its concentration as C2. Next, metal. So this part represents anode, this part represents cathode. So anode is nothing but reduction half cell, cathode is nothing but oxidation half cell. Anode is nothing but oxidation half cell, cathode is nothing but reduction half cell. Okay, so in this manner we are going to represent the electrochemical cell. Some books I will represent in other manner. See, instead of vertical line, most of the cases they will represent through vertical line. Here semicolon, it represents a phase boundary, metal ion C1, and instead of like this, double semicolon. Okay students, metal ion C2 semicolon metal. So like this you have to represent. Very, very important, students. I think you understood the representation of a half cell. This is the representation of a half cell. Next, you can have some example related to that. Before that, so here very important aspect, one important aspect is there. Before going to discuss that, there is one electrode called hydrogen electrode. There is one electrode called hydrogen electrode. So let us take some examples. First, related to this explanation, I will give some examples. See, sometimes while doing numericals, you are supposed to convert a redox reaction into cell notation. So this type of notation we call it as cell notation. Total representation, I have used this method, cell notation method. This method we call it as cell notation. So redox reaction will be given, and that redox reaction you are supposed to convert into cell notation to redox reaction format to cell notation. So vice versa. So now I will take one example, copper silver nitrate cell. How to represent it by using copper silver nitrate cell? You already know the redox reaction. How to write the redox reaction? You know, at anode what happens? At anode, oxidation half cell. So copper turns into Cu2 plus 2 electrons. And here silver nitrate, if you take at cathode, reduction takes place at cathode, that is 2Ag plus gives rise to 2Ag plus, anode what happens, students? Oxidation. Cathode, reduction takes place at cathode. So here I will write reduction. 2Ag plus 2 electrons gives rise to 2Ag. So which part undergoes oxidation, which part undergoes reduction, I have to mention. So after writing the redox reactions, then make it. Cu2 plus, cancel it. Cu plus 2Ag plus gives rise to Cu2 plus 2Ag. So this is a redox reaction involved in copper silver nitrate cell. Cu plus 2Ag plus gives rise to Cu2 plus 2Ag. So finally 2 electrons gets cancelled here. If you solve these two equations, not silver, 2 electrons. So finally Cu plus 2Ag plus gives rise to Cu2 plus 2Ag, that is a redox reaction. Now I want to convert this redox reaction into cell notation conversion. This is redox format. So I am converting redox reaction into cell notation. How can I convert it? See here. First, you know what is here, which one underwent oxidation? This is oxidation, right? Cu is converted. This is oxidation half cell, and this is reduction half cell. So oxidation half cell, I said now one rule. First I mentioned copper, it is in solid state. Have to mention the phase, single vertical line. Next Cu2 plus, I don't know concentration, sometimes they will give, otherwise C1, that is the concentration. So this is oxidation of cell electrode, and I am writing the salt bridge. After that, what I am doing, Ag plus, no need to write 2Ag plus, just don't write any stoichiometric coefficients, simply you write Ag plus, okay, Ag plus, mention its concentration C2, single vertical line, Ag, that is in solid state. So this is a cell notation, this is of the cell notation format. See, you should learn how to convert a redox reaction into cell notation and how to convert a cell notation into redox reaction. So how you will convert? So you know this is oxidation of cell, so you write simply oxidation of cell. So there Cu gives rise to Cu2 plus 2 electrons. So next what you will write, reduction of cell. So there Ag plus electron gives rise to Ag. Okay na? Now you have to balance those equations because the first equation 2 electrons are there. So we have to cancel the electrons. Now you consider this one as first equation, you consider this one as second equation, multiply equation 2 with 2. Here I will write 2 and here 2. Then only you are supposed to cancel this, right? Then Cu plus 2Ag plus gives rise to Cu2 plus 2Ag. Exact redox reaction you will get. So now students, you can learn how to convert a redox notation into cell notation. How to convert a cell notation into redox notation. Okay students, now let us have one more example. Nickel silver nitrate cell. So here in this I am writing directly redox reaction. Ni plus 2Ag plus aqueous. This is Ni solid state. 2Ag plus aqueous gives rise to Ni2 plus aqueous plus 2Ag, that is solid. This is the redox reaction. It is given for you and you are supposed to convert this redox reaction into cell notation. How you will convert? See, where oxidation has taken place, here nickel, oxidation of reaction. Where reduction has taken place, this is the reduction of reaction. So now I am going to convert it. So oxidation of cell I am representing Ni, it is solid state, vertical line, Ni2 plus aqueous, and here the concentration I don't know, simply I will write C1, double vertical line followed by, say no need to write the coefficient here, just Ag plus you write, Ag plus aqueous and mention its concentration. Next, followed by single vertical line Ag, that is in solid state. That's all. And how to convert it, you know. How to convert, students? From this you can write na oxidation of cell. So Ni gives rise to Ni2 plus 2 electrons, right? And here reduction of cell. In this reduction of cell, how you will write? Ag plus electron gives rise to Ag. But you are supposed to balance the number of electrons. In order to balance number of electrons, just multiply this with 2. 2, 2, 2. So finally, what you are going to get, students? That's all. Redox reaction. Ni plus 2Ag plus gives rise to Ni2 plus 2Ag. That's all. Conversion of cell notation to redox reaction. Redox reaction can be converted to cell notation. Okay, students. One more example I will take. It's very important while doing numericals. Zinc HCl reaction. Zinc HCl. So here first I will write the redox reaction between zinc and HCl, zinc rod, that is zinc solid state plus 2H plus aqueous gives rise to Zn2 plus aqueous plus hydrogen gas. So here two electrodes are there, hydrogen gas electrode also there, we will learn about it later. But now this is of redox equation, this is of redox format, convert into cell notation, students. So how to convert? First you identify this is oxidation of reaction, this is reduction of reaction. Now simply what you will do, cell notation, zinc solid state, single line, Zn2 plus, here I am mentioning the concentration, that is C1 concentration, aqueous, double vertical line, and this time H plus, simply you write H plus. So here generally while writing H plus to hydrogen gas, here you have to mention platinum, that's the key point. We will learn it later. H plus to H2, there you have to mention platinum is an electrode, it's a hydrogen electrode. So platinum you have to mention. So we will learn detailedly about hydrogen electrode in the next coming class. So okay students, this is the cell notation. This is the cell notation. How to write the redox reaction now? So from this, you know, oxidation of cell, that is Zn gives rise to Zn2 plus 2 electrons, that is oxidation of cell, and reduction of cell, H plus electron gives rise to H2, right? We have to balance the equation, 2H plus 2 electrons. Okay, finally we will get hydrogen gas. So how to write? So like that you can. Now what you will do? Zn solid plus 2H plus gives rise to Zn2 plus aqueous plus H2 gas. So like that you can write. I think you understood. This is the way which we have to learn. Right, students? Now, one more important aspect I will discuss. Okay. Next class we can discuss.